Look, um, I am not a Kantian. I cannot be a true Kantian under any circumstance because my logic leads me somewhere else. My reasoning and the very altogether strict set collection of premises that I use lead me somewhere else. That is, to spell this out, my deductive processes, together with my assessment of the world around us, together with the very fact of positing some minor metaphysical suppositions about the world, all of these matter of facts lead my thinking into a school of thought that could be loosely and roughly speaking dubbed as quasi empiricism. In other words, at some particular point in time, within our lifetime, we as beings that can be appropriately named human beings, we encounter the particular state of being thrown in the world, subjected to a given Dasein, yet our existence thereon would be as a fact dictated and determined at the same time by a set of actions that we would appropriately and most likely be able to call trial and error. If a thing hurts, then that thing is bad. If a thing does good to the beings around us, then that thing is good. If a thing stimulates, then that thing is a good thing. If a thing entices the mind, then that thing is good. Wisdom is a good thing in itself. There may be a long way to acquire wisdom, yet wisdom is a good thing. Understanding the world, okay? Understanding what you are being told is a good thing. Understanding what you are uttering yourself at any given moment is a good thing. Understanding what is required of you is a good thing. Thinking and thinking deeply as can be imagined, that in itself is a good thing, or at best, a neutral thing, because to put it frankly, it does not hurt anybody. Thinking deeply never hurt anybody, never ever. So you can see from these particular considerations that I have made just before, one can see how much I struggled in my lifetime with Kantian idealism in particular, and also in particular with the specific idea of truths, metaphysical truths that could appropriately be named synthetic a priori, in case such truths do in fact exist. The very questions that Kant did pose, the three questions that Kant posed, remain with me and in a way burn my intellect in a kind, passionate manner. These questions of Kant are, they are as follows. What can I know? What must I do? And what is it that I can hope? No, I think these questions are rhetorical in a very real sense. They are artifices of a rhetorical kind. In other words, they are meant at stimulating an ever present audience. They are meant to contrive, just like wisdom. Yes, as you can no doubt judge from everything that I have ever written, including here everything that I personally have posted online or on social media, the strange reality that we all experience has always baffled me. It has always perplexed me, sometimes to a state of despair, most of the times to a mild prolongation of my intellectual activities. I have always found our reality and our world to have a contrived nature. I think anybody that knows me and Anybody that knows well what I wrote in the past, anybody that understands what I am saying now, anybody that has a deep, very deep feeling for what a person like myself would write, any person like that would in fact agree that, amongst other things, I have always found our reality, our world, to have a contrived nature. Therefore, 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 on top of being a quasi-empiricist, I am also a cultural and social, by all means, cultural and social constructivist. I am fanatic about this. My level of subscribing to the ideas, not so much ideals, because we're not discussing ideals over here that much. My level of subscribing to social and cultural constructivism is close to fanaticism. I don't think anybody that knows me well enough would in fact doubt this. No. Let's not talk right now about issues like, for example, how does the dichotomy between the noumenon and the phenomenon affect, at any given point in time, our ethical choices. Okay? We will have plenty of time to discuss these issues subsequently. Let us not talk about noumenons, that is, things that exist but we cannot know, and phenomenons, that is, things that exist but we do experience directly. Let us put these concepts aside for a brief second. Let us bracket these concepts. Point of matter being, any game played long enough, performed for an enormous amount of time, any such game becomes a serious game. One then starts to ask serious questions. What is it that exists? In noumenon form, in phenomenon form, in phenomenological form. What is it that people experience? Is my experience, whether it is volition or perception, is it dependent or independent from the world around us? I think Wittgenstein settled that one 100 years ago. Wittgenstein clearly concluded the world is independent of one's will. What are we to make of the problem of evil then? Why does evil exist? Surely one cannot say that it doesn't exist, or that evil in itself, or human pain, suffering, or tribulation is a matter of some relativity. And one can then say, look, many things are just within us. Many things are entirely human dependent, while the world in itself is not good or bad, cruel or uncruel, fortunate or unfortunate. Worlds behind the scenes do not exist. They do not manifest. Truth of the matter being that our inherent discontent with the world around us is entirely a matter of personal taste or personal subjectivity, since, as it was established, world is independent of will. Well, is this reality necessarily so? What is it that can be changed about this reality of ours, about our personal embodied reality? Again and again, this supposition is an obsession of mine. Do evil demons exist? Are they just mere thought experiments? Are they metaphysical realities? Again, if we have established that something exists, if furthermore we have established that there is in fact something about the world which isn't quite right, how then does the world look like? What is the geometry of the world? What is its topology? What is its model theory? How does the world we live in look underground? How does it look above the ground? What are the main differences between these two realities, the underground and the above the ground? Is there an a priori necessity for this dichotomy, underground, above the ground? Is there an a priori necessity for the existence of evil in the world. Again, I'm going to live again. Am I going to live just once? Are these facts, these two altogether different premises, do they lead us into different conclusions by any chance? Does the passage of time, discrete or continuous, present structure? Can this structure be understood? Well, yes, artificial intelligence is a good thing, people. Tools at our fingertips, these things are good. In essence, they are very, very good. They are absolute goods, absolute. Yet, the universe isn't a computer. The universe isn't a state machine. Well, personally, I do not think it to be. Is the second law of thermodynamics analytical in any way? Well, what is that we can make of the second law of thermodynamics? Does the very assumption of closed system make any sense whatsoever? Whatsoever. Again, what is it that we can say generally? What is it that we can say abstractly? About the world, about how we move, about how we feel, about how we interact, about how we learn, but more importantly, about how we can improve. Yes, these things are important. Look, it is highly obvious that don't exist general categories. I cannot just place everything there is in one single container and then make a logical claim that I can untie the very weird, very strange knot I have just created. I cannot just chuck the world outside the window. I cannot quit being alive. I cannot even ask for a break, for a sabbatical. This isn't on the table. This isn't within the rules of the game we call life. Existence isn't a predicate. In other words, let me just put it in other words. Let me just reiterate, let me restate what I've just said above. What is it that one can hope? Okay? What is it that one can strive for? What is it that we can, in a realistic fashion, hope to achieve? Well, I think one can hope to become, to embody, or to be remembered as good people in a good world. As artificers of goodness within a non-entangled universe. As sculptures of minds within an oasis of everlasting knowledge. These are just a few of the questions I personally have considered within my lifetime. What are your questions?